all things. Why is LinkedIn not? Okay, LinkedIn's working. Okay. We're going to hop over to Instagram and go live. It takes a couple clicks for Instagram. But while we're waiting, welcome.
Must I not be able to see myself? What's best?
We're live right now, just so you know.
Okay, cool.
Okay, we're live on Instagram now too. Okay, good
Cool.
morning and welcome to Levels Without Limits with myself, Amanda Marino, the host, owner of Next Level Recovery Associates, and Amanda Marino Speaks. I am here with my dear friend from across the world, Mr. Alan Freeman, the owner of the Freeman House. Alan, could you introduce yourself to anyone who may be watching and listening?
Hey, Amanda, good to see you. Hi, everyone. My name is Alan Freeman. I'm the director of Freeman House Recovery in South Africa. It's a rehab in South Africa.
Yes, you guys do. And listen, and I just went there. God, what month did I come? November?
Yeah, you were with us in November.
So myself and my daughter Scarlett came out to spend time with Alan and the team, and I was just blown away. I worked in this field for a long time in behavioral health. I've worked with many, many, many treatment centers. I used to work for treatment centers, but there's something very special and magical, and it's set across the board by staff, past clients, people who have visited. Like, you guys have created, you are the owner and but you put together this magical team and you created something really special. So like, what would you say is like a standout for you? Like, first thing comes to mind that you feel like proud of that you guys do differently?
Look, for me, my biggest asset, I've always said, is my staff. I need to have a happy, comfortable, well looked after team. And if they're looked after, they come to work in a good mood, in a good space, and they're available for their clients to walk them through the process. So first and foremost, I need to look after my team.
Absolutely. Yeah. No,
obviously the clients and their family.
Yes. Yeah, because if we have healthy people working for us, working with our clients, then that's only going to benefit the client and the family, right? So I love that you do that. I know that you guys do something also just for your staff too, correct? Like, you have.
Yeah, we look after our team, and we're very focused on the team element. Everybody works hand in hand, and I feel that nobody comes to Freeman House, like our clientele sometimes come in really dark places, and it's very important for us as a team to shine our light on them and try and uplift our clientele as much as possible.
Yeah, and something that also was so unique to me, another quick standout, was how many people you have from so many different countries and cultures. You really can provide a space and cultural, appropriate care for people from all around the world. You get people from America, Canada, but then you get people from, all different countries. And so that I found to be really special and unique, and that you can cater to all those different,
Look, we're getting clientele from all over the world. We're getting from Australia. We've had clientele from Mexico, from Canada, all throughout Africa, and obviously we're getting South Africans as well. We've got some unique points that Freeman House offers, and a lot of unique points that South Africa offers to our clientele. So we are geared up to cater for clientele from all over the world. We geared up to look after the families of the clientele from all over the world. So, I take pride in the fact that any client arriving in South Africa, I'll be the first person they talk to on the phone, and I'll be the person that picks them up at the airport, brings them into Freeman House, tells them a little bit about my story, gets to know the client, gets to know, where they're coming from, what they're struggling with, and, put their minds and put them at ease for that first hour. So when they arrive in treatment, they're feeling a lot more relaxed and safe, and in a comfortable environment, and with people that they feel safe with.
And look, I love how you just kind of brushed over gently, like so humbly. But listen, people, this man who owns the program goes and picks up clients from the airport. I'm sorry, but no one does that in the United States or any program I've worked with. Alan goes himself, the owner.
It's important. It's important for me to do that. It really is.
So incredible. Like, it is. It's so incredible. It's your hometown too. Like, you know it very well. Like, I felt very safe rolling around Joburg with you because
Mm.
it's your hometown and your family's there, and
Mm.
the whole area. And you guys are an hour? Was it an hour and a half
We're
out?
about an hour outside of Johannesburg, an hour away from the airport. Look, I come from a hospitality background. So prior to getting into the recovery space, I was the owner of bars and restaurants and nightclubs for years and years and years. And I really think that the hospitality, looking after people, is my passion. Unfortunately, for years and years and years, I was doing it in the wrong environment, and I was doing it for the wrong reasons, and it was more hedonistic and more pleasure based. And
Uh-huh.
now I've been in recovery, and since I've become passionate about helping people, I've been able to utilize my skill set in hospitality and marry that with the recovery space. So it works really well.
Yeah, and that's actually so overlooked because those are two things you touched on that we're super aligned with our culture as far as our organizations is taking care of the team. Like, before we send someone on like a companion job or something like that, we make sure that hey, this is the case. How are you feeling?
Mm,
Do what do you need while you're on the job? Do you need therapy? Do you need coaching? Like that's not standard. And then also I come from working for a 5-star, 5-diamond hotel too, so I have that piece of customer service. And I think that that's so overlooked in our field. That would be on an international level, I would say, because people don't think that those things matter, and they do. The little touches are big, like the thing
yeah.
that you said, like you're the phone call, then you're the guy that picks them up, and then they find out you're the person that owns it. It's like, whoa. And
Mm,
especially if someone's been in treatment before, they're going to really feel that. And then if they haven't and they and they decide to go somewhere else, which they probably wouldn't, they're going to be highly disappointed.
yeah. I mean, I've got some funny stories about picking up some clients that, arrived at the airport pretty smashed, and got them into my car. And halfway through the journey, the gentleman from Australia, like, he thought I was an Uber driver, and he asked me if I could help him find some drugs. I said, "Yeah, we'll get you shortly." And I drove him straight into the house.
Good. Great. Um, so like I know we touched on your background, but like what possessed you to open Freeman House, and how many years have you been open now?
So we've been open 5 years exactly.
Awesome.
Um,
Happy
you
birthday.
know, thank you. In 3 days' time, it will be our fifth-year birthday. Um, like I said, I came from a hospitality background, but I was in active addiction for 35 years plus minus, and eventually when my whole life came crashing down, and it took a long time to get there. I was believing that, I was powerless over drugs and alcohol, but for a long, long time, I didn't think my life was unmanageable. I thought I still had a handle on it. And when that all fell apart and I went into treatment, um, you know, like looking at the place I went to, and I don't want to knock it in any way, shape, or form because it worked for me. But I had a look around and thought to myself, there's so many things that I would improve on, and so many things that I could bring my personal touch to and my experience to. And I've got a love for people, and I've got a love for making people happy. Like I've always had that knack, and now I get to put those talents into such a worthwhile, meaningful, endeavor. Now I get to wake up every morning with purpose and passion and meaning, and I get to make a difference in people's lives. That's a positive meaning in people's lives. So that's, I bring that to work every single day.
You do. You bring it for sure.
Mm.
It's such a powerful testament. And like, look, when you see in like leadership, like there's the trickle down effect, right? Like, I mean, every single person I met at your place was like, wow. So that starts with you. You give them the space, and you find the right people, you attract the right people, you hire, but like every person there, I could have just like talked to forever. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
I miss all of them. They were fantastic.
Mm.
Um, what are some of like, I know the things that are important to myself when I talk to a family, when you're looking for a program, right? I say you want to have like a strong clinical team, you want to have a family program, you want to have a
Yeah.
lumbar program. Like those are some key components. Can you speak to some of those?
So we offer all of those. So we've got a family therapist that is dedicated just to look after the families. We run an online group. We run an online group for the families every Tuesday night, which families join and they get support and education and get an understanding of what addiction is and what it looks like and how to deal with the family, with their loved one when they return home, how to put healthy boundaries in place, what to look for, to preempt a relapse, God forbid. But yeah, so that's our family therapist. She also gives the loved one or the closest loved one of the client that's in treatment, they get therapy once a week. They get a session with our family counselor. Then you spoke about the highly qualified and highly trained clinicians and medical staff. So yeah, we've got 24-hour nursing staff on site. We've got an amazing young doctor who's highly skilled and highly educated in psychiatric meds and what to look for, but he's very conservative at the same time. Then my clinicians, my therapists, I've handpicked them all. I luckily enough have a social worker, Laura Edmonds, who's been in the field for upwards of 40 years. So she's really, really, pedigreed and schooled in addiction.
I'll say she's a legend. She's a legend.
She is a legend. Yes, she's an absolute legend.
She's a dog.
And then, then I've got my clinicians. Also, what I wanted to mention earlier when you were talking about the staff and looking after the staff is I've got a high clinician to client ratio. So, sometimes at the end of the month, it's a lot of bills, a lot of salaries to pay. But for me, it's so important that each, client gets to see their counselor enough times per week, and the clinicians don't burn out. I give them leave when they need leave. Right. So they don't ever develop empathy fatigue or anything like that. So we've got a highly qualified team of clinicians. I've got a psychiatric occupational therapist named Lexi. I've got addiction counselors. I've got trauma counselors. And then my auxiliary staff, the groundsmen and the security guards and the housekeeping and the operations and administration, the staff in general, and the chefs.
I love those ladies. They're so passionate about what they do. They just want to feed you some healthy, good, yummy food.
Yeah. So I grew up in Johannesburg in South Africa, and it was quite commonplace to have a nanny growing up in South Africa. And my nanny or domestic worker that looked after me when I was growing up, her name was Margie. And my mom taught Margie how to cook, and Margie's daughter and granddaughter are the two chefs at Freeman House. So it's all.
I know that part.
Yeah, so they're very much part of the family, and they make food for the clients from a place of love and warmth and care. When you're taking away people's drug of choice, you're taking away their phones for limited periods, you're taking away their social media, their relationships, their sex, whatever they're taking away from them, you got to give them something. And I think, giving them healthy, home-cooked meals is so important.
Yeah, no, I hung out in that kitchen quite a few times.
Yeah.
But
it's healthy and it's delicious, but it's also, very curated. It's curated by a dietitian. So we've got all the, elements that should be on the plate. You've got the right amount of carbs, the right amount of protein, the right amount of fats. It's a well-balanced diet. So,
with love. It's made with love. That's
made with love, exactly. It's warm and delicious and home-like.
So I just want to let you know, Jason Lebowitz just said Alan is a rare breed. Thank you. So just wanted to share that he wrote that on the comment. So everyone chime in if there's any questions too. If you have questions about, going to treatment abroad, if you have questions about Freeman House, things like that. So I had originally met Brad, who works with Alan in London at Lee Fitzgerald's event, and we stayed in touch over the years. And I just, the opportunity presented itself for me to come out there, and I'm so grateful that I tell people here, because I had a woman reach out to me recently, like, oh, this, my friend's son, he's been to so many programs, here in Florida and here in other places. it's just like things are not working out. And she's like, I saw, you went to that program in South Africa, the Freeman House. Like, I feel like that would be something really good for him. And that's the thing, is like what you're going to spend in Florida for a treatment center that is really just, McDonald's version, right? Like just generic, nothing special. What you're going to spend for a strip mall treatment center, like in like like with stores and stuff, and then there's the treatment center. That's what you're going to get for what you offer. And you have experiential things. You guys take clients out. You're an hour from safaris, which we got the experience to spend days there. And that whole, I never, listen, first of all, never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I'd go to Africa, nevertheless go on a safari, but I went on two, believe it or not. So it's something that's, for a first time person or for a person that has been through multiple treatments, and it's extremely safe. I felt very, very safe there.
Yeah. So, going back to what we said, I pick the clients up, I drive them through. We've got 24-hour security. The clients are under our care throughout their treatment process. They're never left alone. So, yeah, it is very, very safe. There's certain places in South Africa I wouldn't venture out to, but I think that's like any country, But in terms of what we offer, it's 100% safe. In terms of the safaris and the outings, I'm a firm believer as well that it's not just about giving up the drugs and alcohol and the behaviors. It's also about creating a life that you don't want to escape from. It's also creating a life that's joyous and free, and part of that is experiencing things. It's experiencing things in a community, and it's experiencing things sober, and going like, wow, that was actually fun. That was actually amazing. Like so many of the clients, like, in their first week or two, they come up to me in my office and said, Al, I can't believe I actually had fun sober. It's the first time I've had fun sober in years. So we offer them a safari. They go out once a month to the local game reserve. We also go on an elephant encounter. The guys go quad biking and horse riding, and so every weekend there's a different activity. They go hiking that utilizes the nature and the environment that we're in. So we take full advantage of where we're positioned. It was I thought it through carefully before we opened up in Hartbeespoort that we were going to be close enough to the airport and close enough to the major cities, but at the same time in nature and close to the game reserve, so we can take our clients on adventures every week.
Yeah, I remember pulling into like the area. There's like that one windmill thing, like like so you're like that far from the airport where you're like in like land and things like that, and like have windmills, but you're also close enough to get to the airport and also close enough to be at a safari. Like it's kind of a really good place.
Yeah.
Oh, Brad saying hi. Hi, Brad. I actually FaceTime both of you yesterday with Scarlett. So I have Allison Bishop, who's a clinician here. I love your approach, Alan. What a great leader.
Oh, thank you, Allison.
And I have another licensed mental health counselor. Freeman House Recovery sounds like a wonderful place to recover and heal. Kudos on everything you're accomplishing, Alan.
Thank you.
And then Brad, one more time. Two legends in one place. Well, we're missing another legend without you.
Hey,
here.
Brad. Tell him I said hi.
Brad's been here with me. He did it first. So I want to talk about some of like my personal experiences. So, coming there, I had people like my mother who, watches news and things like that. And she was scared. She's like, don't go, you shouldn't go. It's dangerous there. And like some of the things I shared with you, like that I had heard here in the States, you guys had never even heard of there. You guys are like, what?
Yeah, I mean, there's rumors and falsehoods that there's, lions and hippos and elephants walking around the streets, but it's not like that.
Yeah. No, it was, I felt super safe. I also got to have a light into, seeing some of the less, fortunate areas, like we found an orphanage, and because you were spoiling with your hospitality like self. and how you like to take care of people. You're spoiling myself and my daughter too much. So I was like, I got to find something for her to see some like stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You took such great care of us, so we found that orphanage, and you helped us go grocery shopping and pick out food that would last for the kids and things like that. And that was like one of the highlights for me.
Yeah,
Um,
it
yeah,
was a good day.
it was. It was really special to go
Yeah.
drop, like, put as much stuff as we could in a cart and and bring it to these kids. And the way back, I mean, this thing was like way back there down the red dirt roads in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it was way down a dirt road in the middle of nowhere at night. And that's what recovery is, Amanda. You know, the recovery is doing the right things for the right reasons when nobody's watching, you know, and you did that, you know, you did that. And it was a pleasure to be with you that day. And it was like I said, it was a good day. I still think of it, you know.
It wouldn't have happened without you, because I would have not known what to buy. I would have not gone in there alone, like all those things. So it was a joint effort. But like for me in that moment, it felt like I have been, you know, at poverty level in the States, you know, as a single mom, and to be able to go to a country like Africa, where I remember asking you about getting them bottles, like the big jugs of water, and you're like, they're not used. That's not what they're used to. So that's not
Yeah.
like, so running fresh water, not a thing. Shoes, not a thing. Windows and doors on the building, not a thing. You know, that was just one woman from her church doing that. So that was really special. My Casey, who is my friend and also works for Jaywalker Lodge, or is a CMO. We were hosting our winter conference together, which he's continuing forward, which is awesome. So he said, I'm told a background in hospitality is extremely beneficial in this field.
Well, you know, what I've seen, and once again, not putting any of the other facilities down, but most facilities that you go to are run by the clinicians. It's run by the clinical team, who might offer an amazing program therapeutically, but they kind of miss the mark when it comes to the hospitality side. And, you know, I think it's just important. I don't want to provide 7-star resort treatment, but I think it's important for people to have a comfortable bed and clean sheets and clean linen and hot water and good coffee and good food, and everything needs to be really well presented so that, you know, when they come into group, they've got less to complain about. You know, they're well fed, they're well slept, you know, they've got clean clothes, so they can come into group and really bear it all instead of sitting there and complaining. You know, like when I was in treatment, you know, there was a lot of bitching and moaning about all the things that were wrong with the facility. Whereas because I come from a hospitality background, I try my best, and I do drop the ball now and then, but I try my best to make sure that the experience that the clients have is one of, you know, joy.
Yeah, no, and you are absolutely. I mean, the second I got there to the second I left, I felt. I mean, Scarlett didn't want to leave. I mean, if I count how many times she said, I miss Alan and Brown. I miss Alan and Brown.
But you'll come back next July.
And you know that she's not like that, because you know she has that little side to her, but she really, like, you know, you guys did it in for her. She felt so at home and so comfortable, and so yeah, you definitely offer that. So let's say you know, somebody, you know, is, you know, looking at different programs. They decide to go with you. We know what it looks like from pick up to drop off. Like, so then what happens? What is, like, I know it's you guys customize a lot of things, but what are kind of the standard, like, admissions?
Well, depending on where the client is coming from and depending on the state that the client is in, we have a lot of colleagues, yourself included, and your team. We have colleagues in America, we have colleagues in Europe and in London that can and do and would offer a transport service, you know, that can fly with the clients to South Africa if they're not in a good state and were managed by themselves. But if they are able to get on a flight and get to South Africa, like I said, I pick them up. We drive them to Freeman House within the first 12 hours of admission. Well, the nurse will see them on admission. Within 12 hours, doctor will see them. We'll take bloods, we'll get blood results, and then doc will prescribe as painless as possible detox procedure. Once again, dependent on what substance the client is coming off, within 3 to 7 days, they would join the program. Program runs Monday to Friday. It's an intensive therapeutic process. Weekends, a little bit more relaxed. So the clients wake up at 5:30 in the morning. We've got a private trainer that comes in. We've got a gym on site. So very big focus is healthy living and healthy lifestyle choices. Yes. So the guys exercise 4 mornings a week in the gym with the PT. We also have a yoga instructor that comes in 3 times a week. So the yoga instructor does yoga nidra. We do meditation. We do breath work. We also have a sauna and cold plunge. There's a swimming pool on site. But going back to what you asked me, because I seem to have digressed there a little bit.
We're friends at this point.
So the program is structured. They wake up at 5:30 in the morning. First group is a big focus, again, is community. I know a lot of facilities allow clients to eat in their rooms or eat separately, or we make sure that every meal is eaten together as a community, and a reading is done before every meal. And community and communal eating is a very important thing for us. Then there's 2 or 3 groups a day, as well as individual therapy with the client's focal counselor. And we've got 4 fellowship meetings per week. Some of them are outside of the facility, and some of them are hosted inside the facility. The fellowship meetings are 12-step meetings, so we are 12-step based.
Sorry, I'm answering a couple questions on here. So we just had a woman, Sarah, asking where you were located, and I said you were in South Africa, outside Johannesburg. What is the name of the town again?
You still struggle to say it. Hartbeespoort. Yeah. Hartbeespoort.
Hartbeespoort, specifically.
It's the Northwest.
The Northwest.
Easy.
Yeah. So she just also asked if you were private pay, and I'm writing yes, private pay, and the price point is incredible. For the
I mean, look, the reason we're so popular with overseas clientele is just because our local currency is pretty weak. So what you'd be paying for a on-par treatment facility, say in Europe, I'm not sure what the States prices are like, but I think they're more expensive.
Yes.
But what you'd be paying for an on-par treatment facility in, say, England or Spain, what you'd be paying for 3 weeks, you'll get 3 months at Freeman House.
Yeah.
And it's all inclusive. There's no hidden cost. We've got, all meals, all outings, all clinicians, all doctors, everything's included.
Yeah, no, it's pretty incredible. I mean, I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my God, you get the strip mall, standard run of the mill treatment center, in Florida, at least, for that kind of price point. So it's
the weather's also beautiful this side here. It's really, really warm, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead, even though we haven't fully set up, just touch on it, just so when we do have it rolled out fully, that it's known about. So there is, in the works, Alan and I have this really great idea for, you also get, one place you didn't mention that you get clients from is the Middle East. Like, I know you get some clients from the Middle East as well, correct?
Yeah, we're starting to get more clientele from Africa and from the Middle East. Yeah.
So no, just from being at my last stint being in Dubai, it made me think of that. And I remember some clients that I had met while I was at your facility. So one thing, there's going to be all different levels of, economic background that come to Freeman House, because there is a very reasonable price point, as well as very high quality care. So it can, you guys can cater from a working family to a,
Yeah, look, we've got private rooms available. They're obviously more expensive, and we've got shared rooms available. And like you were about to touch on, Amanda, we're working on not necessarily an executive package, but a package for the foreigners that after their treatment, after they do 6 weeks or 8 weeks, we'd obviously discuss that with the clinician. We are offering a service where the client will go to the Pilanesberg Game Reserve, which is one of the biggest game reserves in South Africa. It's a big 5-game reserve, and get
Can you explain what a game reserve is? Because I didn't know what that was until I
Game
came
reserve is what you'd call safari or a national park that's got wild animals in it, and you kind of drive around in a open air truck, and you've got a game ranger, who'll show you around. So it's basically safari.
Yes, and let you hear a baboon get eaten by lions.
Yeah.
I'm a little traumatized from that, but it was very beautiful, all of it. And we had the night with the pink moon out there. That was just like incredible. But anyway, continue.
So we're offering that package where clients can come to South Africa, get treated at Freeman House for 6 to 8 weeks, dependent on which program they choose, and then after treatment, they can go with a sober companion or a clinician to safari for 2 or 3 days and experience that. And then, then we'll transport them to the airport, and they can then fly home with that, having finished the treatment with such a beautiful, amazing African experience.
Yeah, I envision some of it being like, going with the wellness recovery associate / companion. And then being able to do like sessions with their therapist, process like what they kind of experience through the day virtually from the program. And then, and then if they even need to be flown home, but to leave on that note, there's nothing like the nature in Africa. It's just like,
look, we've done it with families before. So we have had we had a client from Australia who, towards the end of his treatment, his mom and dad and sisters flew out to South Africa, and they went to the Pilanesberg Game Reserve for 2 or 3 days, and they came back, and we had a family session and a debrief almost, and that really worked well. So if families can afford it, we offer that service as well, where the whole family can come have a family session, more than one family session, and then go on the safari with their loved one, and then so reintegrate the client and his family in such a beautiful space.
Yeah, and even have somebody professionally be there to support
100%.
that.
Yeah, that would be
stuff can come up, right? Like, oh, we're back together for the first time in this beautiful place, and this is going to be great. But then what about when they see the person who maybe used to nod out, they see them take a nap just because they're tired, they're going to get No, it is. I mean, there's just, I'm a very big nature person, and I think it's so healing, and for people to have that, that opportunity is just incredible. So that's what I was saying. You guys can cater from the average working family to the most elite,
Yeah, we've had
fun people with homes around multiple.
And we've had some wealthy clients, and we've managed them, and we keep the socioeconomic level with the clientele kind of, it's not a cheap facility, so the clients in group have all got something in common with each other. They'll be able to identify with one another. We very seldom have situations where there's such a big divide with the socioeconomic space that the clients come from.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I share this often from working on the show Intervention. Obviously, those weren't my typical clients, right? My typical clients are more on the high end, more wealthy entertainment professionals, people that need discreet services. However, when I worked on the show, I was working with people living in tents and trap houses, and the similarities were so there, so many similarities, but from such different walks of life and living in such different conditions. It definitely was so interesting to me and profound to have that experience, to see.
Yeah, look, addiction doesn't discriminate.
No, and that if you look past that exterior, whatever nonsense, you see that people have way more in common because of the feelings. And like what is trauma or abusive to one person, just because it's not like when I talk about mine, because mine's so like big, and like, oh my God, you went through that, like the sexual abuse and the domestic
Yeah,
violence.
it's all relative to the person struggling or suffering with the trauma, you know.
Totally, because someone else's trauma could be like their parents worked all the time and didn't come to their sports, and that affects you the same. Like the way it affects one. Just don't. I just hope anyone watching doesn't minimize their own trauma, just because it might not be as quote unquote, you know, big and whatever as somebody else's. Whatever affects you and the way it affects you is, and you can live same household as somebody else, and you can have two different experiences. I see that all the time.
Yeah,
So your reality, your reality, you know, and we're here for it. So, so yeah, so we had a blast. We saw all kinds of animals. We moved a lot.
We did.
I told Alan, when you have two women, well, me and my daughter, who's just like I have packed as much as I do. It's hard to move a lot, but we did it. But we were all really safe.
You guys were gracious and loving and didn't complain a lot and just got on with things. And you said, two women moving around 5 times in 7 days was a lot.
It was, but it was fun. We got to experience some incredible places, you know, and incredible food and people. And, you know, you were always right there to make sure we had everything taken care of, whether you stayed with us at the place or you were right down the street. You know, I always felt like Scarlett, my 13-year-old, and I were extremely safe there. And then we got to have, you know, time by the pool where there was monkeys eating things out of little Scarlett's hand. There was a little girl, Scarlett, and there was a monkey eating out of her hand. It took something out of her hand, and then the mongoose coming down to take drinks of water. And then
it was a beautiful weekend. Really
I have video of Brad like trying to scoop out all the dragonflies that were in the pool. It was so much fun. Yeah, you guys became an extended family on that trip, so I felt so welcome.
You'll be back next July.
Oh yeah. Okay. So July. So because I have this thing called it's called the Big Ass Calendar. Actually, I'll send you a picture of it. It is gigantic, and it's for the whole entire year. And so yesterday, Sarah and I went to the cabana, and we were starting to lay out because I definitely can't do what I did this. I can't from September to December go to Philippines, Thailand, South Africa, Kenya, and Dubai. That's like, it was amazing, but it was ridiculous. So I'm trying to map out my year. So like to plan better, you know, have my travel be a little bit more spread apart. So, how come Alan can wear a white shirt and I can't? Oh, because I wouldn't let him. Yours was a t-shirt, Brad. Yours was a t-shirt. Remember the videos we made? I wouldn't let him.
Tell him to ask some serious questions, hey?
You know, and then your background's also brown, so the white pops. So what has transpired? So, you know, you guys have seen that, you know, you're forward thinking, which a lot of people in behavioral health are not. And I talk about this all the time on social media, that behavioral health is really behind the mark when it comes to online presence, social media, getting to know people, knowing their story. Like now people know you're part of your story and who you are. That's what people want to do. They want to refer to people they trust. Now, all reels, all this stuff, what we're doing is all searchable on Google. So all these people were dumping all their money into internet and call centers and all these things all these years. But people were like, I got lucky because I opened up Next Level right before the pandemic. So you're starting to see the value in that too. And you're putting yourselves out there. And that, I mean, when I see your content come by now, I'm just like, whoa, it looks so good.
Thank you. Thanks.
We're
proud of, we're happy and proud of our content at the moment, and we're slowly making a footprint globally. So it's, you know, that's the thing with the social media, you can target a global audience.
Absolutely. And because you do so well with, you know, so many different cultures, I mean, and it's such a great place for, you know, American clients to come. Like, you know, I've already had multiple people reach out to me from my trip there, asking about, you know, Freeman House and asking about the care there and wanting to know more because there's a draw. You know, I used to have clients ask me about, before I had really worked more abroad in my earlier days, like ask me about places out of the country. And I didn't know really to like give them any kind of feedback at all. I'm like, oh, well, you can go right here. But really now I see the whole benefit from going. Obviously, the AMA rate is going to be a lot lower. They're not going to run away.
Yeah.
They're going to get so much quality of care. It's just such an up level.
Yeah, no, it's difficult to run away from Freeman House. Like, we've had one or two internationals that kind of like, I want an RHT. I've had enough of this. And we're like, well, we got your phone, we got your passport. Mom and dad don't want you home right now. So let's chat about this in the morning. And normally by the time the morning comes, they've changed their mind. They've realized they're in the right place. And, a few clients come to mind that, we've had to manage to convince them to stay, but they ended up staying 3-4 months, and they're still clean and sober today. And that's the main thing. At the end of the day, that's why we do what we do. It's to help people to get clean and sober and help people to live full, happy and joyous lives.
Find passion and purpose, just like you and I. Like I could have been continuing on this journey if I didn't have passion and purpose. No way. It's for me, like, especially with the things that I destroyed, I would have not, I needed to, and that's what you guys are helping people reignite passion and purpose while they're doing the deep work, while they're looking at the family issues, all the things.
Everything. They can go through all the deep, heavy stuff, but at the same time, have fun and do it in a, like peel off all this layers of the onion, but in a joyous and community-based environment. And in a safe space, in a safe place where they're held and they're cared for. And there's, my ethos is in kindness, that's, addiction is so rooted in selfishness. Freeman House and what we offer is just rooted in kindness. So hopefully that rubs off,
Oh God, and you literally exude that and live that. I can testify to that. Could you touch on your logo? I love the tree. The story of it. I think it's really powerful. And then afterwards, once I'm done, I'll go on and post a link to your website so people can actually see, and also links to your social, because I think it just tells such a powerful story.
So the Freeman House logo is 4 trees in various seasons, but they're obviously not in the order that the seasons go in. So the first tree of our logo is a tree in winter. It's bare. It's a dead tree, or it's a dying tree, which represents like active addiction. It represents where I was at that stage in my life. I felt empty. I felt hopeless. I felt suicidal. I felt like there was no hope. I thought there was no way out.
Yeah.
And I thought there was no other option. When I finally, admitted defeat and admitted the fact that I was powerless and my life was unmanageable, I went into treatment. And, the early stages were so amazing. The first few months of my recovery, because I'd been inebriated and high for so long, being sober and clean and in recovery was so foreign to me. I felt like a new life had come over me. Like I felt like a tree in spring, where there was so many opportunities and so many options and so much, like I had to look forward to. But then the hard work starts, then you start, like I said earlier, unraveling those layers of the onion. You got to do the graft, you got to shed the leaves, so that's the tree in autumn, so that's what the autumn tree stands for. And then the final tree, and I loved how you put it when we were actually outside, the final tree is a tree in summer, full of bloom, with so much to look forward to, and a full, healthy, thriving tree life in summer. But what you said, and I loved it, is that you still got to prune those leaves, you still got to do the graft, you still got to water that tree, you still got to nurture that tree in order to maintain that summer tree vibe.
Yeah, it's true. And it's such a beautiful, I've never heard that, whole example. So I love that. It's funny. I picked the logo for Next Level, which is a feather long before I even knew what it represented. So I went to do like a rebrand after a year and found out like it represents so much stuff spiritually, like change and like letting go and new life possibilities. So I picked mine non-intentionally and it ended up working out, but yours is so intentional, and it's really, really a powerful message, because no matter how bare of a tree you are, or how, if you're just hanging on and feel like you're sticks and you're half dead, and that nobody understands you, or you're all alone, that there is hope. There's hope for
There
your
is
loved
hope.
ones. If you're
Yeah.
watching this and you have a loved one that you just kind of are like, I don't think they're going to ever get better. I feel there's hope for every single person.
For everyone. And I promise you, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Like I really feel that. I thought that it was the only option for me. I was 47 years old. I was, drinking myself to death. I was in and I literally thought there was no other choice. That was what my life was going to look like. And
You want to make a cameo? She's dying to get on camera. Say hi, Alan. Yes, no, we do. We get to the end of the rope, and we
yeah.
and listen, mental illness, all the process addiction, substance use disorder, all of them, they make us feel in our own brain, in our own voice. They tell us we're alone and we're the only one, and that we can't get better, and no one's going to understand. We're far worse than other people.
But that's where a lot of the selfishness comes in. It's me, my problems, my loneliness, my anger, my depression, my financial situation.
Sorry, I had a phone ring.
My relationships, what's going on, wrong for me. So, selfish, like addiction is rooted in selfishness, and recovery is just rooted in the opposite.
Absolutely. No. And it's, and also like, and just to have, sorry, someone's trying to pull my hair. That's so annoying. So we do have, sometimes people, it's not their choice. It's all they know. Right. So sometimes we're being super selfish and they don't know, right? They've been through trauma. They have bad family dynamics, whatever the case. So Alan, if someone wants to find you, where do they go?
So they can look me up on LinkedIn if they're, in the mental health space and they want to connect. If they're looking for treatment for a loved one, they can give me a shout or send me a WhatsApp on +27 267 0239. That's +27 83 267 0239.
Okay.
Or
and the website is www.
Freeman House Recovery.
That's what the recovery part was.
FreemanHouseRecovery.com.
And you can check out their Instagram. It's looking amazing.
They can check out our Instagram. They can Google us, read some of the reviews from our past clients, and we're out there.
Before we go, there was something I thought was really special too, is when I went there and I was interviewing different people. There was a client that had completed and was still sober and doing well and had to come back in town for some medical things. And she decided to do a tune-up, and so you can do that at Freeman House. You guys also cover not just substance use disorder, but all the other things that go along with that. You're able to help with all the co-occurring, and that's really important these days, because nobody really just has one thing anymore. It's not that way. But you guys are equipped.
Yeah. And what you said right in the beginning, I just want to touch on a little bit, is like the alumni program, or alumni project. We've got a WhatsApp group with all the past clients on it, and they log in daily and give each other support and give each other feedback on when they reach milestones, and they congratulate each other, and they also get onto that group and tell their fellows when they're struggling. So we've got a support group for all the old patients.
And I love that. That's and that people, they know that they can go. They know they have that space to go to, and that it's available to them. So any kind of final thoughts before we log off? I mean, we're going to do this again. I think maybe if people are watching this and they have any specific questions, or they have any topics they would like for us to cover together, like Alan and I are going to do this again soon. So You can comment that in the chat if you're watching it live or if you're watching it after. But Alan, I'd like for you to share any last thoughts.
Well, just, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you are struggling yourself, or you've got a loved one that is struggling, just know that there is options and there are opportunities to get well, and you can come to a place halfway across the world and be welcomed and not be judged and be treated, like a human being that's struggling, not like a criminal. And, there life can be happy, joyous, and free. I'm testament to that, and so are you, Amanda. And reach out to me. I take all the calls. I can answer any questions you might have. And it might seem scary and daunting, but reaching out will be the best decision you make.
Yeah, and listen, reaching out today. Listen, I used to have back in my day, it was picking up the telephone, a big old actual phone, and making phone calls. Now you could just send, if you're just like scared, you can send just a DM to start, right? You can send an email. You don't have to pick up the phone to reach out. And that eventually, but if you want to start small, like I have so many people, especially on LinkedIn, like attorneys, all these professionals never told anyone, oh my God, I'm doing, and it's, if that's where you need to start, like know that today it's possible.
Yeah, and just, touching on that as well, like you say, the DM or just the reaching out doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be on a plane the very next day. Reaching out to me, I'll connect with you. We can develop a rapport and, build you up to making that move, So, it seems daunting, but it's the best decision you can make. Just reach out. There are people out there who understand what you're going through. There are people out there who've gone through what you're going through. And there are people out there that want to help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it just starts with like a little desire or a little hope in a loved one, and thank you, Alan, for the work that you do. I do want to do one little quick thing, a little shout out to your son. So on my trip, so Alan's son is a photographer, is a young African young man. And I was
Wow. Oh, that's beautiful.
I was gifted this magnificent picture that his son took. It's so stunning. It's a giraffe looking at a leopard, right? Or cheetah?
And it's a giraffe looking at a leopard and the leopard looking back at the giraffe. And my son was lucky enough to get behind the giraffe to catch that is unique and one-of-a-kind image.
It's right like in the entryway of my house. So like there's my front door. So it's very, very special to me. Yeah, and I and look forward to our executive edition program coming. That's going to be a partnership.
Coming soon, yeah.
Yeah, very in the works, and definitely reach out to Alan directly if you want his contact. Reach out to me if you didn't take down his number. But thank you, Alan, for everything that you do, and please tell the team I said hi and send my love. Give them all hugs for me. I miss them all so much.
Thank you, Amanda, so much. It was lovely.
Levels Without Limits. This is Alan Freeman, the owner and director of Freeman House Recovery in South Africa. Thank you so much.